people. They are calculated risk takers. So if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you are still able to balance very finely where the opportunities lie, where the risks lie, and then be able to balance them carefully to ensure that you get more successful outcomes than disastrous outcomes.
Hello and welcome to Springboard, a virtual university. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group, MTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy FM, Joy News Television, the graphic newspapers, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. Well, for some time now, we've been discussing the entrepreneurial mindset, and fittingly so because there's so much that can be done in that space in Ghana and across Africa. We've been trying to find out who is exactly an entrepreneur. Are they born or made? Where do they find those skills from? Can they be taught in class? Can they be passed on genetically or by association? And most importantly, how do you identify an entrepreneur when you see one? My guest for today will help us wrap up this series of conversations, and I think he's more than qualified to do so, having spanned academia, enterprise development, and of course, industry for a few decades. He is a marketing scholar, recently voted as one of Ghana's top 1,000 scientists in the World Scientist and University Rankings for the year 2026, written a number of publications, and a professor of marketing, my own Professor Robert Hinson. Prof, good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir. I was saying it's been a while, so I pray that from today I'll be more regular on this platform.
Prof, you have a permanent seat in this house.
Oh. Remember, there was a time you said I could even come and record 50 sessions if I like. I'll take you up on that now.
Indeed.
Because I have a lot of things I want to say now.
Indeed.
Let me start with a bit of my background. So 23 years ago, I was working as technical advisor on innovation and entrepreneurship to a minister for private sector development in Ghana. And back then, we used to go to secondary schools and superintend science competitions. And, we're trying to fund entrepreneurial flames. We're doing some TV programs. We went to get FC Perfumery. There was a guy who had a transport business. I think he had a chartered accountancy background. And we're called it captains of industry. And we're showing all over. So when you say I've been around this game for quite a while, it's very true at various levels. And then I cut my teeth in advertising, working for an excessively entrepreneurial firm. So I've had like a front seat, to do this whole entrepreneurship thing, both from a policy standpoint, advising a minister of state, and then through working in an entrepreneurial business, and then doing stuff in university settings that could be developed. Look, we introduced 7-8 years ago an MSc International Business Degree program, totally explosive. I remember when I was head of department in 2018, in 1 year, my sales of special programs was over $1 million when you convert from Ghana cedis to USD. So what I can say is that somebody who has an entrepreneurial mindset is a restless opportunity identifier. Like it's like when you are walking around, you have feelers out, whether you are asleep or you are awake. In fact, if you're a Christian, it's even worse because God can also visit you and share ideas with you.
I had a friend who called entrepreneurs opportuniacs.
That's just what it is, because it's almost as if what others don't see, you see. I mean, my friend and senior brother, Dr. Sian Japan, always says that this baller thing is because it just came to him. He had traveled to China to go and do T-shirt printing because it was an election period. And then he saw some tricycle thing, and then suddenly the thing hit him. And he's been at it for decades. So I think what it is that an opportunity mindset is defined first by restlessness. You are incredibly restless. And I think it is available to both full-time opportunity seekers who are private sector people, but also to people who work in established organizations who are also restless about bringing change.
By that definition, you are saying that an entrepreneurial mindset is not the preserve of that person that has started a business and calls themselves an entrepreneur.
Not at all.
Mindset that can be found in a pastor, in a corporate person,
Absolutely,
in a politician, in also a business owner.
You are a possibility evangelist. It's like when you arrive, all the problems we're discussing in that meeting would dissolve because you came. And it's almost as if you are more interested in fathoming way forward, new ideas, blue ocean thinking, rather than coming to join the complainers who see nothing but doom and gloom.
Must that entrepreneurial person always be a maverick?
Not so much. I mean, entrepreneurs are not reckless people. They are calculated risk takers. So if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you are able to balance very finely where the opportunities lie, where the risks lie, and then be able to balance them carefully to ensure that you get more successful outcomes than disastrous outcomes. So you are not reckless like Maverick. I think you're a calculated risk taker, but your opportunity orientation is particularly sharp. I mean, the first defining characteristic of somebody who has an entrepreneurial mindset is that you have a crazy opportunity orientation.
Backed by restlessness.
Backed by restlessness. And then on the back of that opportunity entrepreneurship, you have a strong growth, because the most successful entrepreneurs are not selfish. You find that typically the problem they want to solve has more of a communal benefit than a personal benefit. But in solving those hard, knotty problems, profit comes to them. So the most successful entrepreneurs are not ones who want to have enough money to buy their wife a Lamborghini and send their children to Ivy League schools. They generally go out to want to solve big problems, and then by virtue of the fact that they are so successful at it, the market pays them a premium for the quality of the problems they solve. So that, I think that is how they operate.
Will it be the case then that if a person at the point of inception is obsessed with the profit or the cash that will come of it, out of it, there is a likelihood that they may fail?
I think there's a likelihood they may fail, particularly because I didn't even begin telling you the 5 pillars of an entrepreneurial mindset. But the first one was the opportunity I spoke about, the growth one I spoke about. But the third one is resilience. If you start out with money, it's very difficult to be resilient when problems come, because you didn't set out to stay the long course. You set out to make pa, and then the pa is not working. You just pack your bags and leave. But if you go with a sense of wanting to really make a change and do something transformational, then the third facet of somebody's entrepreneurial mindset is that you have strong resilience. And the shock absorbers are developed on the strength of the fact that you understand that obstacles will occur, obstacles will arise, but because you have a certain dogged fixation on where you are going, you're able to still navigate. And by the way, when you are navigating, there are several times when you might not even break even for what it's worth. But it's the whole sense of, it's more than me. I will stay with it. I will get it done. It keeps you going. The fourth pillar is value creation. Anybody who's a value champion is not a selfish person, because your whole mind is about what is value, how am I creating value, what needs am I confronted with, are my solutions over and above the needs confronting me. Value champions are never selfish. They don't set out to make profit in the beginning. They set out to create deep value. As the value is created, profit comes. The last one is an action bias. They are very intuitive. They get to the point quickly. They don't hesitate too much. They need the most basic set of facts to decide and go. So it's an opportunity orientation, a growth orientation, it's resilience, it's a value creation perspective, and they have a strong action bias.
Which is your personal favorite?
Value. I mean, why would you ask me that? I mean, like, you know, I tell everybody who will listen to me that if you are in sales, marketing, business development, customer experience, the most important word in your life is value.
Why?
Like, because profit comes after value. You know, Proverbs 14:23 says that if you talk, you'll be poor. But in all labor, there's profit. If it was part of the writers of the Bible,
add the word mere.
Mere
talk.
Mere talk.
Because you and I get paid for talking.
No, exactly. Yeah, no. Mere talk leads to penury or poverty.
Okay.
But the Bible says in all labor, there's profit. If I was part of the scribes of the Bible at the time, I would have put value there, because labor that's not value laden is useless labor. So in fact, I keep telling people that Christians who labor and don't get profit, they don't understand what they are doing, because trust me, Albert, whether it's a loaf of bread or it's an airline service, it's always about the value. And it's because there are so many competitor pressures in the entrepreneurial game that if you don't keep value front and center, you may succeed short term, medium to long term, be blown out of the water. And I know firsthand, because I was in an agency where we're obsessed with value creation. An agency where the average age of the agency was 23 years. An agency where we had competitors who were 80, 90 years older than us. Now, you can't come from the back and do well if you don't have a fixation of value, high creative value, superlative creative advice, solid return on the customer's brand investment. So we were young, but we were nimble and we were value-oriented. We used to go to work on Monday and close on Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning because a proposal had to go, a client needed something. So that whole fixation on giving them more than they paid for, that's what keeps an entrepreneurial mindset intact and keeps you going.
I look back at the team that you described.
Yes.
A couple of decades ago.
Yes.
Daniel Chum Jr.
Absolutely.
Who we celebrated recently.
Absolutely.
Joel Nettie, yourself.
Absolutely.
And all of you have gone on to do big global things.
Big things.
So would you say that's the kind of foundation that a young person who really wants to do big things needs?
Absolutely.
Summarize it in one sentence. What exactly do they need?
Patience, perseverance, and a lifelong thirst for knowledge.
Let me stay with the lifelong thirst for knowledge. How does it work in an everyday sense?
That's a good question, sir. And I'm happy you've asked me, because just yesterday I was speaking at your church and I was speaking at church, and when I said it, I held up a book we launched at Labadi meeting, and I said, if I say you say, hey, Prof, hey, this book is big. The book is 150 rules on how to be a world-class marketing communications executive. This is something you must not just read, but stay awake 3 nights in a row and consume, because once you are done with it, when you go back to that, your boutique agency, your full service agency, your PR agency, you will see discernible differences in your output, because now you have a knowledge base you didn't have before. Listen, true professional power comes from the quality of knowledge you consume, not once, but lifelong. Because problems evolve over time, opportunities also morph and change over time. So if you must stay razor sharp enough to keep capitalizing, look, if you want to capitalize one and go and sleep, it's fine. But if you want to stay razor sharp enough to keep capitalizing on the issues and as they arise, you need a constant source of knowledge supply, because if the fuel finishes, the car won't move. So the way a lifelong thirst for learning works is that it keeps you ahead of the curve and makes you supremely qualified to take advantage of entrepreneurial opportunities, because chances are that when the opportunities arise, even for 10 competitor offerings, you are always the best suited to capitalize on them, because your knowledge store is always a little more than those competing for the same assignment. It is what it is.
Let's look at the acquisition of the entrepreneurial mindset. What
Correct.
you're describing, resilience, value creation, opportunity, growth mindset, action bias, these are all things that require they are they require an action from the individual.
Yes, they do.
They are not things that are separate from you that you see, I'm not born with it.
No. It's work.
And entrepreneurs born or made.
I made some notes. You listen to this since you have gone there again. You say, look, opportunity orientation is the habitual tendency to look for possibilities in every situation. Where most people see an obstacle, Reverend Albert Ocran, an entrepreneurially minded individual sees a question. The question is, what does this obstacle create a need for? That's how your brain always works. It's a trained reflex, a discipline of perception that over time becomes second nature. So it's the exercise. So when you do it for a long time, you don't have to think about it again because through exercise, you develop a muscle. So anytime there's a question, there's a problem, all you think about is, so what solution is required to deal with this challenge?
Is it possible that exercising that muscle, what you call the discipline of perception, is it possible that after you've done it for a while, something that maybe previously you could use 2 weeks to figure out the answer, you can use 5 minutes to figure it out?
I'm shocked you went there again. So 23, 24 years ago, when I was working with the late Daniel Chuben Joel, I used to have an eternal fight with my account exec. If they are watching, you remember these fights. And the fights were like, why are these people so crying? They'll be fighting. Then Joel.
And what was the fight about?
It's about
speed of time.
Why is the thing so poorly written? Why can't you get it? Why can't you get it? Then the news said, Bob, if you can do something in 2 hours, it takes them 2 weeks to do it. So instead of berating them, fighting them, punching them, you keep training them to the point where that your 2 hours also becomes their portion. So what you're saying is tremendously true. Look, now when I look at a piece of literature, in 5 minutes, I can tell where all the gaps are. Like, I can tell all the things you could have written instead of what I'm reading and tell you 15 things you can do to make that manuscript better. But it's 23, 24, 20. I edited my first book 21 years ago. So clearly, I have a bit of experience in editing and writing manuscripts. So the discipline of perception, it gets better the more you exercise it. And then for those who are also serial entrepreneurs, like my big brother, Michael Zomelo, he wrote on LinkedIn a day or two ago that the blessing of being a multi-industry entrepreneur is that you transfer the lens from finance into engineering stuff, engineering to agribusiness. So you find that you are double blessed. You don't just have one type of discipline of perception. You have discipline of perception that is multi-industry, multi-sector. And he was making the point on LinkedIn that you now get to cross-fertilize and transfer them across. And he was saying that makes a more resilient entrepreneur. I thought that was very profound.
It actually sits at the heart of a big debate we had at MBA class about the dance between conglomerate diversification and concentric diversification.
Correct.
The argument was that the typical person who diversifies does concentric because it's the same thing you are doing, but different iterations of
Absolutely.
it. But the conglomerate person has understood what you call the discipline of perception so much that can take the lesson from fuel or energy and switch it to agribusiness and bring it into publishing seamlessly.
Do you know why I thank God eternally for the professional path he gave me? I got to work in an agency. So whereas my friends in banking, I've been in banking for 35 years, I've had the blessing of working in 25, 30 industries since I was born because I've done some space phone in my life. I've done some NTAC Limited. I've done some Ashroom in my life. So you find that versatility makes you a particularly rounded professional. I'm not saying that if you're a banker, you've committed a sin.
It's just a gift.
It's just a gift. So anytime, so I have a client I'm going to do some work for next weekend. This client seems very jittery about, you have to bring people from that industry to come and give use cases in my intervention. I'm just very patient and watching them because I'm thinking, this is your industry. Even the same industry, I've worked in 6 different subsectors as one person. But I'm very patient and very nice because I'm thinking that If that's what makes them comfortable, it's okay. I'm waiting for the use cases to be done. Then when I start exploding, to understand, okay. So not only that, is he intimate with our core industry, he knows the subsector that are competing with us. So I really think entrepreneurs who get to bend their fingers a bit, move along a bit, they are a special type. They're not just one industry entrepreneur. I think it's a strange blessing, but I think it's a blessing.
Yeah. Still on that blessing, I think Andrew Ocran,
yeah,
president of the AAG,
yeah,
in a session here, said by virtue of working in agency, you literally immerse yourself in the client's work, literally almost like being embedded in their struggle or what they are doing. So you come out of it feeling almost like you and them are one in this battle.
No, but that was Andrew being humble. There are times when you must go over and above because you are the one who's bringing extra value.
Exactly.
So I would go to maybe 14 Canon websites because I have to help my friend Rami Halimi to Manfofo. So when I come into the meeting, I'm bringing Canon Philippines, Canon UK, Canon France. So I'm bringing very fresh brand perspectives because I'm the advisor. So Andrew is right. Like, you have so much brand intimacy that if the brand manager felt dead today, they can call you to come and continue to define a replacement.
Absolutely.
That's how profound it is. Running too fast.
Yeah. When I come back from this break, I'm going to ask you to help us to understand the role of apprenticeship versus the role of studying entrepreneurship in an air-conditioned classroom at the University of Ghana Business School, Gimpa Business School, or Central University Business School.
Absolutely.
And I want to know what each aspect brings to this conversation.
That's fine.
It's going to be very, very interesting as we come back.
I can't wait, sir.
This is Springboard Virtual University, and anytime Professor Hinson comes to class, we have a time of our lives breaking down thoughts, ideas, and principles. Absolutely. And the discussion for today is about the entrepreneurial mindset. And so far, he's been telling us that as for the entrepreneur, it's a simple matter. You must have an opportunity orientation. You must have a growth mindset. You must have an action bias. When others are talking, you are thinking, Charlie, how can we hit the ground running? And then you must have a lifelong test for learning, and then a discipline of perception. That's one word I think I like, the discipline of perception. And in all this, you must have resilience that doesn't give up very easily. When I come back from this break, let's find out if we were to put these on a scale and you scored yourself 1 to 10, would you be trending towards an A or a B or a C? And by the way, we also find out the part you learn in the classroom versus the one you learn in the hard knocks field. What role does each part play? Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with the Enterprise Group, MTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy FM, Joy News Television, Graphic Communications Group, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. Take a break. Please don't go away.
Going to the library. Going to the library.
Okay.
I'm going for my graduation. Go well.
Education changes stories, and being part of these stories is the real passion for us. MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this enthralling conversation about the entrepreneurial mindset. And I'm sure if you've been with us from the beginning, you're asking yourself, wow, where do I find myself? How do I rank myself on this Richter scale, if you want to call it that? Very, very shortly, I'll give you 10 indicators that you can score yourself on. And let's have a big debate on social media to see how well you are doing, what mark you give yourself. And that will be a very interesting one. But this is brought to you by the Springboard Social Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group MTN Ghana and the Ghana Growth Program, with support from our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the graphic newspapers, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. So let's talk about the Enterprise Spotlight and remind you of something to expect on the show from next week, the 10th of May. It's going to be back to back to back, showing you the process by which 24 finalists were selected from across the country. And Prof right here is the chairperson of the panel of judges. For the next 3 weeks, lock down your dial on this show, Springboard of Virtual University, on TV, radio, and online, and let's watch edition after edition of young people presenting their ideas. You will find out how to present yours, learn from their mistakes, what they are doing right, and travel the journey till we announce the big winner as we put out 500,000 cedis worth of prizes to these entrepreneurs. Make sure you're here with us throughout for the next 3 weeks or 4. So, Prof.
Yes, please.
We've been talking about entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes, please.
What it takes for someone to say they are entrepreneurial.
Yes,
the
please.
big thing you said to start is that the person does not need to be running their own micro business or personal enterprise to call themselves an entrepreneur.
Not at all.
Thinking pattern.
Anyone can develop it.
That is broken down into attributes that one can easily acquire.
Yes, please.
It's not something you are necessarily born with. You can learn them and you can do it at the very highest level.
Irrevocably. And
in the acquisition process, I'd like to find out from you. So if a person goes to do, let's say, entrepreneurship in a university.
Yes, please.
And then also in my interviews with, let's say, Horseman Shoes, Tony Senea, and then with Caveman Watches.
Watches, yes.
They all indicated that at a point in time, they had to humble themselves and go and do apprenticeship.
Yes, please.
Sitting under watchmakers, shoemakers to observe the craft at a certain artisanal level.
It is what it is.
Before they shot up to where they wanted to do in terms of the precision quality that they are doing now.
Yes, please.
Now help us to appreciate what these two different learning programs bring to the life of the entrepreneur.
Okay. I made some notes here about the mindset itself, and part of the note connects with your question. So I'll just do a quick 1-minute read and then I'll get to your question. Reverend Ocran, the entrepreneurial mindset is not a generic inheritance. I mean, like, your father can be a world-class entrepreneur, leave the business to you, break it, and we won't even remember your father's name again because you are shambolic at carrying the family tradition around. So it's not the preserve of anyone. It is a cultivated disposition and is developed through exposure. This exposure comes through reading, through mentorship, through deliberate practice, and critically through doing. So it's reading, mentorship, deliberate practice, and doing. So the more you do the reading, the more you benefit from the mentorship, the more you deliberately practice, the more you do the entrepreneurship, the more natural it becomes. So like a muscle, it grows. Given that platform, therefore, you asked about apprenticeship, going to study, and then you asked about formal learning, going to a classroom. Well, let's start with the reading then. And the reading would necessarily happen if you went to enroll at a Gimpa Business School, a Strathmore Business School, a Harvard Business School, or you went to a University of Ghana Business School. You'd have to read to pass your exams. But you see, if you are sitting in the class with an entrepreneurial mindset, you read in a very different way from somebody sitting there and hoping to pass an exam, which is the eternal struggle I've had with master students in the past 23 years as an academic. Because I keep telling them that at the master's level, I don't need you to chew and pour and pass. I need a certain mental versatility. That tells me that by the time you leave, you can engineer things, you can innovate things, you can have very multidisciplinary perspective. You can be a problem solver. So I don't need you to. And students have struggled for years because they want to know, Prof, so the questions where, so the book, the chapters where we for read. I'm like, no, why you for read? Don't be the problem. The problem is, I want you to come to class and challenge, say, Prof, you know something? I also saw something today. So can we discuss? But when you are there like an eternal reservoir, must come and fill you in so that you keep the water inside your stomach. It's not appropriate.
So as a lecturer, I mean, you enjoy it when people come with different ideas, theories, and challenging class.
You know, when you don't come with theories, I feel I'm failing because it's as if you are just a sponge. You are just collecting. It's not fair.
Are you an outlier, or that's how academia ought to be?
No, my other friends, they like the chew poor pass because the thing is easier for everybody. But me, look, I have a lady called Joanne. She went to Holy Child School. Brilliant lady. I think she's 25, 26. She's on LinkedIn. She's on TikTok. She says she's something physiotherapist, but she has stopped. Now she's doing her own business. She's posting catalogs. And today she said to me, I am proud to be your student. I wrote, I'm even proud of you. Then she said, I hope we can be friends after this. I said, Madam, we are friends for life. And it's that orientation I want. New ideas, breakthrough. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So when you are that way, even if you are in a classroom, you read and study differently. You come with a different mindset. So the reading is required at a certain level. But the mentorship and apprenticeship is where the real value lies. Because I keep telling people that if you say, Prof, Science is a successful marketing man, my success is 90% apprenticeship and mentorship. It's just 10% PhD, chartered market. Those things don't matter too much because you see, in life, there are people who've traveled the road and are extremely experienced. So when they sit with you and say, Bob, you know something, if you want to sit on a board, these are the 3 things to do. It's not the same as reading 17 books on governance. No. Look, those books on corporate governance, role of board committee, it's English. The guy will say, Bob, come.
1.
So this is your CV. 1, do this. 2, do this. Number 3, for your profile, start with these industries and looking for board job. You see that you sit on 20 boards because that guidance alone is more than 27 books on.
I find that sometimes people don't place value on it.
Because they don't quite understand the power of the spoken word from an experienced person in catapulting your career in whatever way.
You see, Eli must have been having problems. I mean, I'm inside the Bible now. Eli may have been having problems with his children giving him wahala.
Correct.
But Samuel did trial and error to Eli said, oh, but this is very easy.
Yeah.
Just go and lie down.
Yeah.
When they hear the voice, they say this.
Absolutely.
And then in 1 minute,
and that
he
was
sorted
it.
the guy.
That was it.
Charlie,
that was it.
There are things you've done for 40 years. You are seeing the young person doing it. And you are telling that this person is about to cross a dual carriage and will get hit by a vehicle. You are telling them slow down and they're like, no, let me experience myself and learn myself. You may not survive to tell the story. Or
my brother, you won't survive. And so the mentorship thing, I actually think, look, because I'm a multifaceted human being, I have academic mentors. These are 60-something who are scattered across the world. And do you know, I send them periodic health checks on my life regarding where I am. In fact, when I get to Rwanda, I send emails, I'm here, so keep going. I'm here. And there's a particular guy called Professor Kevin Ibe. This guy in 2002, I reached out, I said, please, I want to become lecturer, I want to do PhD. The guy gave me advice. It was a Strathclyde then. I've been giving Kevin feedback like constantly. Recently, he said, Bob, it's okay. You've done. I said, no, I've not done well. And he said, no. In Africa, you are one of my most, I said, it's okay. You the fans for me, it's not necessary. I just want to keep reporting back. And he's such an experienced person that the guidance is invaluable. So I think all these young entrepreneurs who are Range Rover driving, they know everything, relax. So there are some people who've done it for 39, 47 years. I think even if you are succeeding, the checkings matter for longevity purposes, because even the most successful people still need a refueling every now and again. So the book matters, but I think getting proper industry guidance matters. Now I work to those on my side of town. Now I'm a very senior academic, so I'm going to say something I want to say for a very long time. Listen, we must also learn to stay sharp in terms of doing actual field work. Look, yesterday I was training a certain executive committee of a financial sector, and I told them that, look, even in exco, you are best off in the field. So stop waiting for graphs and all sorts of reports that sound honky-dory without visiting the trade, going to a branch somewhere in Agbogloshi, going to a random branch in Nima, to get a first-hand experience of what's happening in the hall yourself. You can't even go wear a pair of jeans and some tattered t-shirt and just walk around, because field lessons are not like anything any book can teach you. So please, those of my people too, learn to have laboratory type, go and solve problems, because entrepreneurship is not easily taught from a book. We have some projects in Legon called the Incabom Collaborative. I have a few people who are doing their best on that side of town, but we need more people to have, look, when you go to the Copenhagen Business School in Denmark, I studied in Denmark, right across, there's something called the School of Entrepreneurship. And when you enter, there are small projects that are being done, like hatcheries, like, proof of concept. And it's like the whole place is a buzzing hive of activity where people are actually taking little projects from town and actually configuring solutions. So there's a blessing actually doing the stuff to learn the stuff.
German education system has a dedicated, structured apprenticeship program.
Yes.
With a similar outlook on it.
It's important.
Let's come to, so I promised something. So I hear entrepreneurs are promise keepers. So let me keep my promise.
Go ahead.
And then we'll come back to where you started from, the issue of value.
Correct.
So I randomly went to look for the 10 things that an entrepreneur must have.
Okay.
And I've been collating the ones that you give.
Correct.
And I see that we are literally compiling the 10 without having this list.
Okay.
So I'm going to share 10 things. And your job as a listener, whoever you are, wherever you are, first of all, let me validate this list against you to see whether
Go ahead, sir.
you are aligned.
Yes,
so which I'm going to give you the list slowly.
Yes,
then you
please.
write 1 to 10. You score yourself. And then we discuss it on the Facebook page to see whether you are there or not. So, Prof, in no particular order.
Mm-hmm.
First is initiative.
Absolutely. Restless man, always
Number
looking
2,
for new opportunities.
Resilience, which you mentioned.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Number 3 will make you very happy. Customer obsession.
It is what it is. It's a value game. If you're not playing it, go and sleep.
Number 4, financial discipline.
Oh, that's also important. I was going to discuss that under constraints. Yes.
Number 5, learning agility.
I told you, always
Number 6,
learning.
sales courage.
Without a shadow of a doubt. If you can't sell, you're dead.
Number 7, team builder.
That I haven't spoken about. Relationship orientation, building good teams. Yes.
Number 8, you have risk judgment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Number 9, communication.
You must be superlative, written and spoken.
10, integrity under pressure.
That one is important. An ethical backbone is important for longevity.
Right.
If you are papa, you can be cutting corners. When they cut you, we'll visit you in someone, we'll pray with you, and we'll come home.
And come back home.
That's exactly.
So this is not like some absolute list that is the all in all. But let's work with this list.
Yes.
And once Professor endorses it, let's work with this list.
Absolutely.
So, I want you to very slowly. To be on your screen, just score yourself randomly. Where 1 means that you are low on initiative, 10 means that you are very, very, very high. Then when you finish, add your scores. This is a test of your entrepreneurial orientation.
Absolutely.
So the first one is initiative. Initiative. You see a need and you move before you are told. You don't need permission. Number 2, resilience. You get knocked down 7 times, you stand up 8 times.
It is what it is.
Number 3, customer obsession.
Absolutely.
You feel their pain, you talk to them, you are in the trenches with them. Number 4, financial discipline. Financial discipline. You know the cash runway, the margin, the unit cost, you understand your money. Number 5, learning agility. You kill your own ideas fast and you learn and understand. Number 6, sales courage. Sales courage. You ask and sell and sell.
And you must know how to pitch. It's crucial for sales excellence.
There you go. Yeah. Sales courage. Number 7, team builder.
That's important.
You recruit people who are better than you in different fields. You bring them together and build a winning team, like we were talking about from your agency days.
Yes.
Number 8, risk judgment. You are not a gambler. Yes, you don't fear, but you understand
It's calculated risk taker.
All right. So number 9 is communication. Communication. You know how to pitch, you know how to speak, you know how to sell your ideas, you know how to package them for somebody to understand, and you know how to tell your story. Number 10 is integrity under pressure. Even if no one is looking, you do what you got to do. And that is the 10 attributes of an entrepreneur. So please, on my Facebook page, just write your score and let's have a conversation. Did it come out well? Add it. If you are scoring each one over 10, by now you should know whether your score is 40 or 60 or 80 or 90. So score yourself as an entrepreneur, and it will give you an idea about your orientation. Prof, this random way of checking, is it a good way of measuring yourself?
It is. And but one thing that connects a number of the attributes is also the quality of the brand you carry as an entrepreneur, because if your storytelling capacity is weak, it might affect your entrepreneurial journey. Because I've seen a couple of entrepreneurs who are struggling recently because they were used to a certain type of revenue source that has changed radically. But because the brand storytelling was almost taken for granted, it's hit them quite a bit. So whatever you do, make sure you have not just business resilience, but brand resilience. And storytelling is
that not the agility, the ability to port from a certain way of being? In that conversation at the launch of the Daniel Chum Foundation,
yes,
where you led a big conversation in that breakout, in that
panel discussion.
Panel discussion. You moderated a panel discussion.
Very much.
It was about how the industry has changed,
correct,
and yet remains the same.
Correct.
At the core, it remains the same.
Correct.
But the practice, the tools available, the technologies have shifted.
Yes.
So if you are in the field and you were celebrated decades ago or years ago as the main person, as the industry shifts, you need to keep pace. If not,
you
may find yourself struggling in the same place where you dominated. You are now on the fringes.
You do. But unfortunately in Africa, some African entrepreneurs don't understand the premium of brand management. So sometimes even the sales efficacy suffers because the brand is weak. I mean, if your brand is challenged, you probably need 10 times more effort to get market acceptance than if it's properly managed, value propositions are clear, well communicated, so people understand the brand and they want to buy. So this brand thing, and then connected to that is this customer obsession. You see, I've said on this program several times, and I'll repeat it again today, that a brand is two-sided. Functional selling proposition, emotional selling proposition. The emotional selling proposition side is where the customer obsession shows up. Because if people don't endear themselves to you, they don't feel as if the experience is worthwhile, so they can't become raving fans and ultimately brand advocates, then you're in trouble. So in Africa, sometimes the focus is on the physical brand building, the logo, the things. But the major challenge is that front desk executive who is slammed in the chair, totally disconnected, and who's really one of the main reasons people are leaving without entering your organization, and you are totally clueless in that regard. So I think this issue about brand and customer experience is something that I think entrepreneurs and new venture owners must be particularly wary of in succeeding even with an entrepreneurial mindset. It is also important to me.
Let me tap into another very interesting dimension of the entrepreneurial journey. So the orientation that starts a business is very entrepreneurial, quick on the go, rapid decision making, and then you build an entity. With time, the entity becomes stronger.
Yes.
There are units, there are experts handling finance, experts handling marketing.
Yes.
And certainly the entrepreneur can do things and pick up the blocks.
Yeah.
I find that it sometimes a struggle for entrepreneurs.
I know.
They feel they are being slowed.
I know.
Help us to appreciate the dance between the person who founded the business and the speed with which you are doing things and that ability to be able to be everything, and then the new system where now you have experts that are
Wow.
knowledgeable, who are managing functions.
Wow. Your question is, again, so profound. I actually think God is in this meeting because the question you're asking almost give me an answer that's a real life case. So 3 weeks ago, I joined the board of a 41-year-old pineapple export company. Now, this guy is an excellent man. When I was studying for a PhD several years ago, it's one of the case studies I used because I looked at internet and e-business and export firms in Ghana for the Aalborg PhD in Denmark. So this guy now sets up a board, and he calls it a revamped and a proper board. And we have a lady, Reverend Carmen, who's now the board chair, excellent corporate governance expert. And we've set up a brand new committee called Marketing and International Business. And the chair of that committee, we set up an audit committee, a risk committee. A few days ago, we did a trip to Nsawam to look at the pineapple farm, the mango. They have branches all over. And the man has his sons in the business. He has his children in the business. But it's so refreshing to see how he sort of realizes that the business is ready for next level. And as a consequence, the things you describe, because he has a solid production team, he has the marketing, he showed us an organogram with corporate relations and so on and so forth. But as we sat there as a new board, we saw clear opportunities for improving the governance structures, improving the management orientation. And so using that as a live case study, I think that entrepreneurs who've done it for 40 years like this man must understand that at a point, there's a necessary transition. And that transition should not be scary to the extent that the business has scaled. And so when the business scales, your job should be to provide still the same vision, but the fire would change because now the organization operates outside of you. So I think that transition is important. But using my example, you need to have solid corporate governance practices in place, because I've sat on some boards where the chair is a family connection to the MD. So you almost get the sense decisions are taken at home before the board meeting is had. So it makes you wonder sometimes what the real corporate governance texture is about. And so I think one critical thing is that as you scale, improve your corporate governance and understand that once these structures are in place, you will still have broad oversight, but you can't run it like a 3-man business, 10-man business. I'm going to the US, get me a business class ticket, we are going and come. We don't care, give me some money, we are going. No, you don't give me some money, I'm going and come again. But there's a way your request will be processed, and there's a way it will be recorded, because auditors will come and so on and so forth. So corporate governance discipline is important for next level entrepreneurial success in Africa.
Somebody said, if you don't make the transition, the same person that built the business will kill the business.
Will kill it, yes.
That's scary.
Yeah. It's almost counterintuitive, but that's exactly what will happen. Yeah.
Same orientation, the same style that built the business cannot take you to the next level. If you insist on that, you will kill the business.
Yes.
Prof, let's wrap this up.
Yes, please.
Ultimately, the reason for this conversation, apart from everything else we are seeing on the Enterprise Spotlight, everything else that we are doing all over the place with different mentoring programs, helping young people, is because the prediction is that if Africa doesn't get entrepreneurship right, the number of young people coming out of school, coming out into the job market, will struggle with unemployment because opportunities are not enough.
Right.
What would you like to say to wrap this program up about creating an entrepreneurial and opportuniac mindset across board for especially the next generation, so we can have new enterprises, new ideas, new creations?
Reverend Ocran, this your question is scary because I think we've forgotten to also acknowledge all the dire predictions from UN agencies, World Economic Forum, technology entrepreneurs about the devastating effect AI is going to have also on jobs in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And the fact that even for the jobs that will remain like maybe a regular medical doctor, your efficacy will be measured by your ability to leverage the multiple AI tools that will be available in order to still give an excellent diagnosis and guide the patient in a very profitable way. So here's my advocacy as we end. In 2026, whether you like it or not, you need to understand that artificial intelligence has redefined the rules of business at every level. So your basic preoccupation should be, one, to become more AI literate because it is what it is. And two, if you are in customer service, for instance, and the BBC has reported that chatbots are doing better than human customer service agents, they need to be clear on what you want to do as a customer experience professional. So, three things. Number one, become AI literate. Number two, if you're in an industry that could vanish in the next 10 to 15 years, then take better steps to ensure that if you want to stay there, your innovation and creativity should be unmatched. Otherwise, you won't survive. Number three, like we spoke about the governance issue a little earlier, start small, scale, but as you scale, ensure that you employ the right corporate governance practices for your business to become multi-generational, because that's one thing we also complain about, that we don't have enough multi-generational businesses in Africa. Once we keep a lid on that, I think the blessing will come.
It starts with conversations like this that open the box.
Yes, please.
And look in it to see what are the best practices across the world.
Yes, please.
Prof, let me end with a quote that captures what he started with.
Yes.
So Ryan Lilly says, entrepreneurs see what others can't.
Yes, please.
Do what others won't.
Yes, please.
And accomplish what others dream.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It
And
is
this
what it is.
brings us to the end of our conversation for today.
Yes, please.
I want to keep my promise. We'll be back
Yes.
and talk about
Yes,
a few other exciting
many
things.
other things. Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
Now I'm coming a lot, so I'll be here. Don't worry, I'll
Charlie,
be here. Cry.
Yeah, your seat
You
is
do have some sofa bed around here.
All right, so just to let you know that Prof and Springboard go way back. And as he always say, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yes, sir.
So this has been a conversation about entrepreneurial mindset on Springboard, your virtual investing. Next week, we go into action on entrepreneurship as we bring in the 24 finalists on the Enterprise Spotlight, and Prof and Co grill them a bit to see what they are made up of and select the final 10. Everyone in the 24 is guaranteed 5,000 Ghana cedis. When you enter the final 10, you are guaranteed a minimum of 10,000 Ghana cedis, and someone goes all the way up to 100,000 Ghana cedis right here on Springboard. Your virtual investing is brought to you by the Enterprise Group, and you want to look out for that one on the Enterprise Spotlight. This has been Springboard, your virtual investing, brought to you by the Springboard Roche Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media efforts are driven by Joy FM, Joy News, the graphic newspapers, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. My name, as always, Albert Ocran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.